What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first edition of the NBA Injury Report Show. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can find me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And this is going to be typically a daily show. We didn't have it yesterday because there were no injuries, there were no questionable players. But Greg and I did it last year. I'm running it back this year by myself. We're just going to take a look at the questionable players on the injury report and try and get an idea of what would happen if they are ruled out. Obviously, that is something that happens throughout the day. And we have our morning NBA show talking about players that we already know are out. We have the deeper dive and the live before lock 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock shows talking about players that have since been ruled out. But there are a lot of times during an NBA day or within the course of an NBA slate where questionable players do get ruled out, and there's not an immediate answer to what you should do with that information if you are trying to adjust at that specific time. So that's what this show is for. We're going to take a look at the players that we do have an idea, could be ruled out. Guys that are already ruled out, we'll talk about on different shows. But the questionable players, we'll take a look at those. Before we get into that, with it being the beginning of the NBA season, we do have our best NBA promo code running right now. Use promo code Hardwood. Get 10 days of Stokastic Plus Platinum for just $10. This will give you access to the lineup generator, which is our newest tool that you can use to create winning lineups in any DFS style contest. So be sure to use the promo code Hardwood and get 10 days of Stokastic Plus Platinum for $10. Now, looking at today's NBA injury report, there's not too many names on it. We already got Zach LaVine ruled out. We'll talk about him more on the deeper dive and the live before lock. But in general, it opens things up a bit for Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso, who is available to play. But as far as questionable players go, Jalen Smith, one of the bigger names on there right now, he is likely to be sharing minutes with several guys in the Indiana front court. And if everybody's active, it just becomes a situation where you have some good point per minute producers, but they're difficult to trust. So they're going to be guys that maybe fit into a lineup here and there, but that you're probably not getting a lot of exposure to. If Jalen Smith were to be ruled out, though, it opens up minutes for some combination of Isaiah Jackson, O'Shea Brissett, and potentially Taylor. So Brissett and Jackson are the ones that I think are probably ahead in the rotation. Isaiah Jackson in particular is the one that I would want to focus on because last year he averaged 1.16 DraftKings points per minute when he was on the floor. Brissett, for example, was at 0.85 DraftKings points per minute, which is fine. But Isaiah Jackson is the one really where if he were to step up in the big minutes, he can make a really big difference. So that's where I would really be trying to focus my attention if Jalen Smith is ruled out tonight against Washington. Maxi Kleber, questionable for the Mavericks. This one probably doesn't have a huge impact. JaVale McGee maybe would play a little bit more, but that's not even necessarily true. Christian Wood maybe picks up a couple of extra minutes, but that's not necessarily true. Like there's a lot of ways that the Mavs could potentially soak up some minutes with other bodies. You could throw Dwight Powell into the rotation. I think there's a decent chance that would happen if Kleber's out and that you would get some sort of a center rotation where like McGee plays 16, Powell plays 12 to 16, Wood plays the rest at the 5, and then the rest of his minutes at the 4. So I don't think there's a huge impact here if Maxi Kleber is out. He's not a high usage guy, so he's not really affecting the rates of people he's playing with all that much. And he's not taking minutes away from guys that I think are likely to matter that much in DFS. So if he is out, I think it solidifies McGee's minutes. It probably solidifies Christian Wood's minutes, but I don't think it moves anybody from being unplayable to playable. It maybe just makes McGee and Would look a little bit better than they do anyway. And the final questionable piece on today's injury report, Kevin Huerter with the Sacramento Kings, with his new team. He is questionable to play. If he doesn't play, it's likely that we get more minutes for some combination of Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, and Terrence Davis. Davis is the best point per minute guy of that group, averaging 1.06 DraftKings points per minute last year. He also probably is the least likely to benefit. I think he's behind Monk and Mitchell as far as who would get more playing time. Malik Monk last year, not with the Kings, but last year averaged 0.89 DraftKings points per minute. He's certainly someone that can get hot and take over the scoring load for a game. Not that you expect him to need to when you're playing with De'Aaron Fox and with Domantas Sabonis, but Monk is a capable scorer in a good matchup here. If Huerter were out, he could get enough minutes to be a reasonable value. And then Davion Mitchell, not really a scorer. He's somebody that could pick up more minutes. He's relatively productive when he's on the floor with 0.81 DraftKings points per minute, but not really somebody that you're relying on from an offensive standpoint. Good defender, can just get stats from being on the floor. But Malik Monk would be the guy that I think I'm looking at the most if Kevin Huerter is ruled out. So thanks for tuning in. We will have this out every day, or just about every day that there are injuries. So be sure to check it out. It'll be out around 1:30 after we get the 1:30 injury report. Thanks again.